Owning your own home is the great Australian dream, right? Yet many people who rent and strategically buy property are actually getting ahead of homeowners. You see, home ownership, it ties up your capital, it often puts you into masses of debt, and sometimes if you're buying in the wrong location, you can actually be stuck with a property that doesn't grow for many, many years. It also limits your flexibility, and sometimes it can actually set you back when it comes to wealth building. Rentvesting allows renters to get their foot into the market. They can buy where it strategically makes sense and then continue to rent for their lifestyle. I'm Steve Williams, and on this podcast, we talk rentvesting, property, and getting ahead. I started investing in property about 15 years ago, and I actually started with the rentvesting strategy. And since then, I've gone on to build a portfolio. I'm the director and founder of W Property Advisory, and we've helped people across the country get their foot into the market using this strategy, rentvesting. We've bought in locations where the numbers make sense. We've purchased for them in high growth locations, which has accelerated their wealth and helped them get ahead. Now, if you've been listening in before, you're probably thinking, what's happened with the name of this podcast? Well, I thought that given that I know that the rentvesting strategy can be a really great strategy for a lot of people, and it's something, as I said, that I've done myself, I really want to niche down and focus on rentvesting. But we're going to talk all things property, which relates to everyone who's buying property or in the property market. But we're really going to niche down and help those first home buyers, or maybe you're renting already, maybe you have one investment property. How do you go on and continue to build a portfolio from there? I'm hearing this all the time. There's a lot of frustrated people out there. They're living in our major capital cities and they simply can't afford to buy where they live. And they want to live close to their family or close to their friends, or maybe they want to live for the lifestyle near the beaches or wherever it's all happening in the city that they live. And they're being a bit disheartened by the fact that the prices are significantly higher and costly compared to what they were 10 years ago, even a couple of years ago. And they're starting to save a deposit and they're wondering how they're going to get their foot into the market. And having seen the success that my clients have had using this strategy, I really wanted to educate and inform more people that you've got choices and it's going to help you decide whether this is the right strategy for you. Now, really quick, if you're thinking of buying an investment property and you're about to make that decision, well, I've got good news for you. I've put together a free quiz. It only takes 2 minutes. It's going to ask you a few simple questions. You're just going to answer yes or no, and you're going to get a result, which is going to tell you where you're at on your journey so far. And it's going to give you insight into what you need to do to get yourself ready in terms of your mindset, your financial, and also your knowledge readiness to make sure you make smart investing moves. So click the link below and let's see what your score is. Let's dive in. Today, we're going to cover everything from the myth of home ownership and why it's not always cracked up to what people think it is, how renters are playing the game differently, and I'm going to talk to you about how you can start with rentvesting, even if you don't have a huge deposit. In Australia and in many countries around the world, we have this myth that home ownership is like the be-all, end-all, and that's the end game. And for a lot of Australians, when they're young, they find a property and they get themselves into a huge amount of debt, and then they basically become prisoners to that debt for their life, meaning they have to work, often 2 incomes to be able to pay off that mortgage. And so while people think that is the be-all, end-all, there's actually other strategies out there that might actually be better for you. You see, home ownership, what it's going to do is it's going to tie up your borrowing capacity. It's going to put you in a huge amount of debt, and you may not necessarily live where you're actually wanting to live. I was looking at the latest data and I found that approximately 9,000 to 10,000 Aussies are actually using rentvesting as the strategy to buy their first property. And there's also a ton of other rentvestors out there that have been doing it for years. In fact, a lot of wealthy people are using this strategy because they know that it makes sense from a financial perspective. Now, when we say home ownership is a myth, I mean, of course, some people, they want that comfort of knowing that they own their home, the rent's not going to go up, they can feel stable, and they can turn it into something they want that's their own. But if you find a rental property that's in a location where you actually want to live, for me, when I rent, I actually tend to not actually care as much about the crack in the wall or the maintenance needs to be done, because I know that's actually not necessarily my problem and it's something the landlord's going to have to cover. And if your situation changes, maybe your income increases and you want to live in a more affluent area, or maybe you want to change cities altogether, you can do that because you're not tied into this mortgage. in this home that you've created. The downsides of home ownership is, as I said, typically you're getting yourself into this huge amount of debt. You've got all your maintenance costs, you've got your rates you need to pay, maybe you've got strata fees, of course, maintenance costs that come up from time to time. So all of these, they're coming directly out of your pocket. Whereas if you're rent vesting, then some of these costs are actually tax deductible, which means that they're not coming out of your pocket, or you're getting a little bit of a rebate from doing this work on your property. There's a lot to talk about to unpack whether this is right for you and whether it's the right strategy for anyone. Really, the key to success in rent vesting is if you're living in a place where the house prices are really high and the rental amount or the rental yield is not that high, maybe it's like 3 or 4%, then you actually buy in a location that's a growth market where the growth is occurring now and the numbers are looking good for the future, but also your rental income is quite healthy as well. And it provides that cash flow benefit as well as the tax advantages as well. Of course, it means that you don't get to live in the home you own, but for a lot of people, they're happy to live in a place that suits their lifestyle because the house to them is just somewhere that they live. They love going out exploring and traveling, so it means they're not tied down. So this is how renters are playing this game a little bit differently. Maybe you've been renting in a capital city for many years. I'll tell you my story. I was renting an apartment in Melbourne in my early 20s, and back then the rents were actually pretty affordable. The rent wasn't that much, and I was able to live in a prime location where the property prices were actually quite high. And what I did was I purchased in a location where I could buy a house for only $550,000, whereas a house in Melbourne would have been closer to $1 million at the time. I bought this property, and over the years, it's actually grown in value. Meanwhile, I'm paying this lower rent in a place that's a little bit more stagnant. The property prices have remained fairly stable. So it means that I was able to, speed up and accelerate my wealth. And then I was able to actually extract that equity and then use that to buy another property in a couple of years' time. This is just one example of renting in an inner city location, but houses, the rental yields can, especially inner city locations, they can even be worse. And so if you're renting a house that's say $1, $2, $3 million, the rental income on these inner city properties is actually quite low, depending on which city you're in, of course. And then therefore, if you're able to rent in these locations, it makes sense financially because the cost of having a mortgage on a $1, $2, $3, $4 million house is quite substantially higher than having a rent or paying rent on a house of that value. And therefore, financially, you're actually a little bit better off. And then you use the money to buy in a location where the growth's occurring. All right, Steve, I get it. There's advantages to doing rent vesting, and there's also some disadvantages. We want to now dive in and talk about how can you actually start rent vesting even if you don't have a huge deposit right now. Firstly, it's about that mindset shift. As I said, a lot of people have this great Australian dream that owning your own home is the be all and end all. But if you can see the numbers and why it actually makes sense, and as I said, it's not for everyone, but if the numbers make sense for you, then how do you get your head around the fact that you don't own the place that you live? I mean, many renters have already been renting for years, so they're quite happy to continue to rent and then buy a place strategically somewhere else. But for a lot of people who have this dream and that thought of like, hey, I really want a home, it does take a little bit of work to shift that mindset. And of course, there's also the external pressures and the family and friends that are saying, hey, buy a home. Or maybe they're celebrating their success. But if you can see the financial benefit to it and the pros that actually benefit you, then you can be rest assured that even though that's something you want, maybe the timing's not right now, and it's something I can have in the future. And over the years, although I started out rent vesting, what I did was once I had enough money to take out of my first couple of properties and then buy another property, I actually bought my principal place of residence. So you can actually use that growth to then buy a property to live in. And I then actually became a rent investor again because I decided I wanted to change the scenery and move to a different location. So I then converted that principal place of residence into an investment property. And that actually has some benefits as well, which we're going to unpack in another episode down the track. So now we've got the mindset right. Number 2 is we want to be really strategic in what we're buying. Because if you're living in, say, for example, a place like Perth right now, where there is growth occurring, then you might be better off buying in that market. Whereas if you're living in a market that's relatively slow or stable, say for example, the Canberra market, it's been quite slow for a number of years, then you might be better off putting that money into a growth location where you can actually start to accelerate your wealth and then get ahead. In order to understand what makes a good location to invest in, there's a whole heap of data and criteria. And it's really, for me, I'm thinking we need to put together a bit of a spreadsheet here to actually assess, okay, this is scenario A, this is scenario B, which one is best for me. But essentially, you want to buy in locations where the rental demand is high, which means that there's low vacancy rates. There's a high demand from buyers, meaning that the growth is going to occur now. And also there's low supply now, but also low supply in the future. Step number 3 is getting finance for your purchase. The benefit of Rentvesting is you can actually find a location where you can get into the market at an affordable price. A lot of people are buying properties $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, which they simply couldn't buy where they live, and they've got a deposit already, and this can actually go a long way towards this purchase. And the other thing as well is that with your borrowing capacities, it's actually going to give you benefits because you can calculate how much rental income you're going to get, and the mortgage broker and the lenders can actually use this towards your income, which means your borrowing capacity may actually be stronger. And then the final step is managing your risk and also your cash flow. Really, when you own this property, you want to make sure that the income coming in can reasonably support the costs going out. Most properties at the moment are negatively geared, which means that the costs are higher than what you're actually getting from rental income from the property, but making sure you can meet the repayments each month. But I can tell you, for a lot of people, financially, it makes a lot more sense, and often it's much more affordable to do it that way. So today we've covered the myth of home ownership and how it may not be all what it's cracked up to be, and it may not be for everyone. I've started to unpack what rentvesting is and how it may be a strategy that's suitable for you. And I've also shared a little bit about my story, and I've got a lot more stories coming up to tell you about what I've done to get ahead using rentvesting. And I've also talked about how you can start getting into the market even if you don't have a huge deposit. I want to be really clear with this though. Rentvesting isn't about avoiding home ownership. It might just mean delaying it. Maybe it's something you have down the track and you can work towards by just firstly getting your foot into the market so you don't get left behind and you're not missing out on the growth that's occurring across the country. It's really about being strategic and making the right decisions. I like to call them the why, where, what. You need to have your really clear why, then understand what's the best where for you, and then find a what or a property that's aligned with your where and your why. And if you do this the right way, it can be very beneficial. And there you have it. That's rentvesting. It's a strategy that I love. I can't wait to share so much more content with you on how you can potentially get into the market with rentvesting or continue to expand your portfolio. I'd love for you to like, subscribe, and follow the podcast. Again, pop any comments below with any questions. I can include them in an upcoming podcast. We'll see you at the next episode so we can get ahead together. All information contained in this podcast is general in nature and does not consider your individual circumstances. You should consider the appropriateness of this information with regards to your individual objectives, financial situation, and needs, and speak to a professional.